Why, hello there. It's a pleasure to see you, wonderful viewers, even though I cannot see you. It's lovely to have you all here with us, joining us for another Monday game in Quest here with the Plains of Providence crew. This is our weekly Monday Quest RPG campaign set in a homebrew setting of my own creation. So, welcome everyone to Heroes Without Limits, our fantastic channel. And I'm going to let the players just introduce themselves real quick, name player character they're playing in class, and then we'll get into a recap and also our content warnings for what you might be coming up ahead, as this session could get quite intense very quickly. So, yeah, I will let my players go around. Whoever would like to take the initiative.
Are you saying this could get dicey?
I will neither confirm nor deny that they could get dicey.
Well, we made Inez leave. Well, I guess I'm going to start since I'm already talking. Hi, guys. My name is Jen, pronouns she, her. I will be playing your uh, usually friendly, always sassy naturalist by the name of Serena. Um, yeah, that's me, your friendly local
Fantastic.
druid.
Next up,
Okay, I'll go. It's
I was
fine,
gonna
it's
start
fine.
calling names after a certain point if you don't get to it.
No, I'll go, it's fine. Hi, everyone. My name is Inez, she, her pronouns. I'm wearing a suit for some reason. um, let's
Fantastic.
see. Yes, fantastic. I'm very proud of myself. Um, Today, I will be playing Haurian, or How for short. The big buff elf lady fighter who is also a comfort lesbian, I've heard. um, so, I
We
guess buckle up.
we gonna ignore that phrasing. Anyways,
You know what?
this is not a euphemism.
It's not.
We worked it in. It's been a while since we worked that one in.
Exactly.
Anyways, Gabriel, save me from Inez and myself.
Hi, I'm Gabrin. I play the very not neurotypical, awkward half goblin called Nim, um, who I think has just kind of bumbled their way through this whole campaign, riding off of everybody else's sass.
I feel like you've generated your own level of sass at some points. Don't sell yourself short. The sass is strong within you. It simply requires the occasion with which to express itself. And for those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Angela. Otherwise I am going to be playing the guide, so the GM role for Quest. Slash, I'm also colloquially might be referred to as the Fire Burb because I am the interpreter of the divine bird's will of this world, who is essentially God of all creation. I am God in this world, essentially. It's my nice way of saying I'm God, which is fun. It's not something you get to say in your everyday life very often. So, with that out of the way, we're going to get into very shortly what is our seventh session, which is titled Temples and Travesty. Now, before we get into that, a little bit more than other episodes, I really want to stress on content warnings. Very there are will be discussions of different things that will imply loss of consent and control. Nothing to any sort of nothing explicitly in terms of what's being acted out or anything of that sort, but I wanted to note that that is a theme that comes up and can bring up a lot for folks. Uh, the dead bodies to an extent will be mentioned as well, given the first being that the party is going to have an interesting reminder of now that I talk about it again, and also fungi, flora, larger in this episode potentially elements of body horror, at least in particular design for some of the creatures, but uh, hopefully, if I've done my role correctly, nothing in the usual ableist trappings that comes with a lot of body horror and such. But nevertheless, I wanted to give a warning about that. And I believe that covers most of it. Sadly, we will not be having Jace, our other player, joining us. They have some other matters they had to attend to, some personal things in their life going on. So we love them. We hope to have them back and hope to have a full crew for one of our sessions again because it's been a while since we've had everyone here. But life gets in the way. We try our best to manage that, whether it's slightly delayed time for starting a session or just trying to make understanding for folks. It's hectic times. But with that out of the way, we can jump into our quick recap, as last session was not perhaps the most stimulating in terms of conflict or difficulties, but rather amusing and hilarious in the RP elements as the party got themselves a little bit more ingratiated and worked into the river pod, the Care River Pod community here in the primeval garden, the forest region of the continent of Agni, which the party finds themselves on. In getting a little bit more acclimated to the area, the party received some of you received a dressing down from some of the locals. Reed red for filth, as Inez put it, in the case of Farron, quite badly. Some of you have received a new gift in the form of a pair of boots that should work, as far as we know. It should grant you the ability to temporarily hover and fly, or it could turn you into something else, or something. Oh, specific. I think I wrote it specifically as your feet. Something will happen to them, likely a turn into river bog creature, something something minor.
Who knows?
Uh,
Surprise me.
we're gonna find out. And in addition to that, also the most relevant thing in terms of the relevant information for the party was hearing the tale of Thomas Reimer, a naturalist many generations back, said to have been a founder of some of the communities here, who was allegedly said to have lost his love to, and in the hopes of bringing him back, he reached out far, far out across the plains, and something answered him. At the time, he believed that it was perhaps the very will of the primeval maiden herself. But, and to this end, he gathered 10 individuals who chose to willingly sacrifice himself for his intent of reviving his lost love. But in truth, what he found was the voice that spoke back to him was in fact something far more foul and far more profane. And as a result, the apostles and many who seemed to carry on the legacy were referred to as the apostles of anathema, those who carry on Reimer's legacy in a rather unfortunate way, and whose appearances bear striking similarities to the more humanoid creatures that the party has encountered before. With that information available to them now, and with slight difficulties but successful passes, even though it did involve at one point Howdy and potentially standing on top of a venom troll. That was fun. The party has made their way to the entrance of the Forgotten Temple to the Primeval Maiden, deep within the forest of the Primeval Garden. However, before we turn into the party situation, we will roll back just a little bit. Serena.
Oh, I'm muted. Hi.
Yes, you were muted. This happens on occasion. Technical
I'm awake.
difficulties.
I'm awake. I worked 30 hours this weekend.
It's a Monday. No one's functioning on a Monday. You stepped away from the group for just a short period, just to go on ahead, just to make sure that you were being safe and just starting to give an initial lookout when you felt a pull towards the forest, as though
Is this pull familiar to me?
It feels. If you recall the sort of conversation you had with Farron, a short time ago, regarding how to manifest the very abilities of nature itself for their own purposes, it feels like that. It feels like something old and something comfortable, though not familiar per se. It feels like that, but it's not quite in a way that you're used to.
Okay. You were going to say something.
You just have to turn up my mic just a little bit because I'm coming in a little quiet. Hopefully that's a little bit better. So you feel this pull out to the forest, something that feels like it's calling you out to it.
I am going to follow the call.
And as you do, you go a little bit past the edges of where the river pod community exists, where the boundaries exist. And the trees become more dense the foliage just crops up close, and there comes a point where you feel like you're starting to get lost.
I'm going to trust that what I'm feeling has no ill intent toward me, and I'm going to trust it to pull me where it will.
You carry on deeper into the forest.
I'm gonna make mistakes today, guys.
And you feel this is a very random thing. I am not looking at chat because I'm sure chat is currently making comments that I cannot ignore, so I will be pulling
No,
up.
I just was amused at just the face palm.
So you're finding oh geez, I'm wondering why my mic is still not picking up folks as well. Here, let me move a little bit closer. Hopefully that's going to tweak the audio settings just a little bit. Let me try that. That should hopefully fix it a little bit. I will see. Our producer will let us know in any case. But if the party can hear me well enough, then I think we should be fine. But apologies for viewership and if I'm a little low today. So, oh good, we're doing better. Does Serena wear shoes? This is a very random question.
No, she doesn't.
I didn't think so.
She's,
it's relevant because it's relevant because you start feeling like as though the earth around you is becoming more fertile. Like your feet sink in just ever a bit more, and then as you look down, you also see that there's small like critters just going all over, like small. It looks like worms and such, moving all over, and then you're also seeing like small little like almost like woodland creatures just going by.
Oh my goodness, I want to make friends with one. I would like to find like a squirrel or a chipmunk and be like, you want to come out? You want to come field trip?
Yeah, you actually see one of them stop, just sort of attention perks up, and then it almost seems to like gesture with its head.
I'm gonna trust the squirrel.
Best statement.
I follow the squirrel.
One of the best. You head in deeper into the forest and you come upon a clearing where it looks as though there's various trees surrounding it, but it suddenly opens up a little bit. You turn around and you see that the trees are moving.
Treebeard, is that you?
You know, you make the joke, but you do actually start to see from the branches of the trees, they begin to shift and form like humanoid limbs and such.
I look up and I'm just like, well, that's new. Hello?
Hello there, child.
What am I doing here?
We came because you seemed to have the touch of the wild and of the forest with you, so we thought it best to speak with you directly.
Yeah, I'm from a few dozen leagues that way.
Your commentary is quite colorful and enjoyable. And you see various forms of the trees. They just sort of shift, and it looks like there's various humanoid shapes of all different sizes. Some who might be more akin to the size of a gnome, one a very massive, tall, almost giant-kin individual. Another one, not quite an actual giant, but still in the like 9-foot tall kind of range. You see some who look very similar to you. Take a look at chat to my own dismay. We're getting to that part, Inez.
You know what? I'm mad. No, just kidding.
It's like, why?
Angry.
This is what you get for being late. You get no ends today. Anyways, carrying on. Uh, you see several of them are just sort of like looking with great level of respect, but just sort of standing back. Welcome, child of the Fae.
Thanks. How can I? What can I do for y'all?
Conversation. And so as to give
Oh.
you, again, warning and care.
Warning
We-
about the Ravagers.
Yes. But not them only. We are what you might refer to as guardians. We are those who have chosen to remain behind and linger in the forest, long past when our lives should have ended. We are not allowed to rest, but we linger on of our own will in the hopes of maintaining the safety of this place.
And now something is threatening it.
Yes,
What can I do?
these creatures you've dealt with, or you have encountered, these ravagers, do you know their origin?
Let me just real quick, just look at my notes. Do I know their origin or I knew their origin?
You do know them as the information that you got from Teleris, the very famed silver-haired elf historian
I'll script my notes
from
on my Google Drive.
Chentico,
Mm-hmm.
was that many of these beings were said to have been sort of the offshoot creations of the dreams and nightmares of gods. There are those who didn't quite understand their own existence.
I will copy and paste that explanation into Serena.
There is a sense, and it's striking in this moment to you that in reviewing, like talking that out and reviewing it, there's an interesting note about the Ravagers in particular. None of their actions ever seem to be coming from a place of ill intent, or even
They're just
necessarily. They're not. They don't seem to be acting off of intent really at all. They seem
they
almost
just
afraid
they're
and
confused. As I think I kind of slowed down as my voice kind of like trails off as I'm finishing up the explanation, and I just say, "Is there a way that I can help them?"
You must break the bonds that exist. The creature, the others you've seen, the apostles, they are far more dangerous than anything the Ravagers could do. For as terrifying as the Ravagers might appear, they are merely those plagued with an existence and a knowledge of their own existence that they cannot grasp and require care to reclaim and become comfortable with once again.
How do I break the bond?
You must stop the efforts of the apostles. You must not let them complete what they wish to do at the temple.
Are they here yet?
They are already here. They have not yet begun their actions, but soon they will begin. They wish to
So
bring.
I have to get to the temple before them.
Yes,
Can you help my friends and I get there and hold our ground and protect it?
we do what we can. We will offer in a time of need one last means of closing what they wish to open. And you see the trees around you, they part, and it's almost like if you were to imagine looking up at the top of a forest, the way that a canopy sort of just blocks out all of the sun and everything, it's almost like some of that stretches down to ground level, and then the vines and the branches begin to form almost like a pictographical representation of something you've seen multiple
Ooh.
times with all of the emissaries. A tear in the very fabric of the plains.
Yep, there it is. There it is.
And I asked this not as a gotcha, but just as a genuine question. What what is Serena most afraid of?
I think Serena is most afraid of a couple of things. The biggest being the destruction of the nature around her and the destruction of the nature that she grew up in and loves.
You see, coming out of their representation of the portal, it's a fiery creature. It's something who looks as though its very body is formed from the ashes of trees that you grew up with all around you. Its form looks almost like a blight, like living flame, also bearing a blight that's slowly just sapping the life out of everything around it. This is what they wish to bring. You cannot ever understand its true form, and it becomes only that which you fear most. You must not let them bring this into our realm.
We will guard the temple. We just need to find it first.
We can provide you aid. Our Lady grants you this blessing to get there as fast as you can. And you watch as all of the individuals, they sort of seem to like shift away into one larger tree. And emerging from the base out of it, you see a very beautiful feminine form, like wild nature come alive. Like the very at like their very dress and form looks as though whole canopies of various forests of various climates have been sewn together in a beautiful gown. And you see their hair is best way I can describe it is sort of like a fulani braid. So it's like kind of side swept smaller rows of cornrow, like cornrows, but the hair, the colorations is like all of the seasons. It's like there's four almost distinct braids that are helping feed different sections of it that are like the four seasons of nature
I
that
love it.
shift this way. This is all I can provide to you. And you
If
see, Carrie.
if it oh no, she's hot. If I could, may I ask you for a favor?
Yes.
May I take a cutting of the ivy over there? It will certainly help remind me of the severity of the circumstance and add to, and I kind of like hair covered in ivy and vines.
Uh, you see your hair actually. It has also been nicely braided up, and you see that there's a little, almost like hairpin that's stuck there. That it you when you turn to like feel for it, it's a cutting of the ivy. She did your hair. Also, I appreciate chat saying asking for Galadriel's hair, huh?
Yep. That's where I was going with that.
You have the gall. You have the gall of a dwarf. I appreciate this. But
I
the trees
thank you.
part, and the figure smiles, and you see as when you go through the trees, you arrive in front of the temple with your allies. Now we cut back to the actual moment the party is in. You weren't here last week, so I had to give you some attention.
Oh goodness, a lot just happened.
Wow, and attention she got. Damn. Oh
Yeah,
my god.
also-
More like attention. Get it? Ents.
Oh my
We're back, guys.
god, you know.
The last thing you would hear from all of the old wooden spirits, you would hear one last thing that they would try and make clear to you, which is that no matter what they claim to call themselves, these apostles only besmirch the name they've long since taken for their own purposes. They are not, they do nothing to honor any of the intent Reimer wished for his beloved.
Oh, okay, cool.
So yeah, now we cut back to what the party landed at, as you are basically the best video game reference I have for it, just kind of describing the outside of this, is imagine a massive if anyone's ever seen the Deco Tree from Ocarina of Time, or it's a combination between that and Ocarina of Time's Forest Temple. It's a massive sort of decayed stone step structure where the stones sort of look like they've been parted open. It's a massive opening in the center of it, but it seems to be blocked by an even bigger flower with various kinds of like rose blooms to it. But the blooms seem like they have this very blood red and also brackish black kind of color to them.
This whole
And-
thing is so many Legend of Zelda references so far. Ever since
Don't blow her cover.
Don't bring copyright into this right now. Don't bring copyrighted material into this. It is undisclosed, unnamed series from which I'm pulling from a lot of.
Exactly.
references. It's just references.
It's just references, but
Please don't
the
sue us, Nintendo,
for this.
for this.
But you also see almost like a mound, like imagine like a potted plant, how much dirt you often need for it. That equivalent to a massive mound that poking out through all of the dirt, you see various bodies and skeletons.
Yay!
Yay! We're here, guys.
Serena, what the heck?
Wait, do we see her? Do we see her like coming out of a
Yeah,
portal?
you see her. You just see her. She just sort of just walks in as though she's just been wandering through the forest as well. Like Serena, you turn back. There's no clearing. There's nothing like that.
Hello?
I think I was just on a very bad trip.
Yeah, well, welcome to yet another bad trip.
I just talked to the forest.
Oh, really? You did?
Yeah. I copy and paste all the lore into their minds.
You have that available to you.
Plug it in.
Cool, I
From
copy-
the sea lore. All
Command
right.
C lore, Command V lore.
Nim is just going to kind of look over and be like, okay, so what do we gesturing to pile and rest of plants?
We'll figure that out later. This hot lady, where's she now? No, just kidding.
Well, now we guard this place with our lives.
Oh goodness.
How, like,
I imagine we should probably go inside and or like fully inside and like figure out what we're guarding with our lives. But
Well, you talk to the forest. Do you think you can talk to this huge flower?
let's find out together.
Otherwise,
maybe
I'll
stop,
talk.
and maybe tell it to stop eating people?
I mean, I'll
Oh,
talk,
yeah.
but it'll be like less talking, more swinging.
How far away is this flower?
It's immediate nearby range. It's nearby to you.
Nearby. Okay. Okay. I speak for the trees. It's Axum's fault. Trust me. I look over at the flower, and I look over at my friends, and feeling very silly, I say, Are you awake? Just spits out a Freebird.
Just burps.
Oh, will you let us pass?
Say
Is that a
please.
yes?
Say please.
Please. I just like hesitantly like take a step closer and just see how it reacts.
It seems like the mound is there's just a very slight bit of tremors to it.
Okay. Is there anything you need? Anything I can do for you?
I take a step closer to Serena.
I'm not very experienced at talking to giant flowers. I'm sorry. Do you want me to get you a Venus flytrap? We can probably get you a buddy. Shit.
Flesh. All right.
Okay. Can I distinguish what this plant is saying?
It's saying flesh.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, lovely.
So we all kind of want to keep our flesh. But
So we're hearing this one-way conversation where Serena all of a sudden just says, we kind of want to keep our flesh. It's like, yeah, yes. That's the point.
You're also seeing Odyssea is kind of visibly recoiling a bit. And like has their head to their and like their hands to their temples.
Oh, she's seeing a whole bunch of okay.
She's not seeing anything. She's hearing a lot.
Oh. Listen, you know that your existence is dependent on the existence of this place. I'm not trying to threaten you, I swear. But there are things coming that if they were to come, they will burn you down, they will move past you. And even if by some miracle you manage to survive, what they would unleash upon this forest would do the rest of their work for them. As a favor to both us and to yourself, if you let us pass, we will help you guard this place and stop them from entering and doing what they need to do. Let us help you.
Roll me a d20, Serena.
All right, let's see how this goes.
For inspiration, I say, yeah, what she said.
Does that give me advantage? 5.
Oh, no.
You
I ruined it.
You see from underneath some of the mounds, it's almost like the roots begin pulling out from under the ground.
Mm-mm.
And you hear Odyssea saying, they like just sort of like recoiling kind of in pain, and you hear her just muttering something to the effect of like, this thing is bound, has bound or has become a source of binding several souls, several who are not able to be at rest are being funneled to this.
We have to kill the flower.
Are we sure about that?
No.
It's either it's very much you could try and avoid it. I'm not saying you have to fight this. I'm making this clear as your GM that you have to. It's a matter of what you want to do in this case.
Hold on.
Because you can tell this thing does not, from what you can tell, from what Odyssea tells you, they say that like this thing does not, it's not enjoying what it's doing or
Mm.
what its existence is right
Okay.
now.
I would like to use my ability size up to evaluate the capabilities of a nearby creature or group of creatures. So the guide will give you useful insight into their capabilities, strength, vulnerabilities, and or resistances. At a minimum, you
Okay.
will receive an accurate assessment from the guide about whether they would pose a fair fight.
So you do know that this creature, whatever this thing is or whatever has become of this flower, it's quite big. And being big, a lot of the bigger creatures tend to be quite versed in delivering much more deadly or multiple kinds of blows.
Mm-hmm.
So you know it has multiple attacks. And you do notice, even though you're not in immediate range of it, being nearby, you smell a foul stench coming off of it. To the
Ew.
point where if you got any closer to the point where you were in immediate vicinity to this thing, it probably would be very hard to try and fight without feeling like some level of sickness and difficulty trying to make any sort of blow onto it.
Mm-hmm.
And you do notice the tentacles, they are not actively doing anything right now, but some of them seem like they're wrapping around some of the bodies and they look like they're quite strong, like they could fling them at any moment.
Okay. So here's what I say. I say, you, as I like look at this creature with like an intense look, you all of a sudden hear me go like, that smell, the stench of
Smell,
death.
smell.
I've experienced this many times in many wars. It is best not to go near it, and be aware of the throwing power of these tentacles. They could be throwing stuff at us.
How far away from it / past it is the door to go deeper?
It's within immediate range of the flower.
So I have a bad idea.
There is a doorway.
There is a doorway.
Okay, it's not like covering it. Okay, that's cool. You have a bad
How?
idea. Sorry.
Nam, you were gonna say
How?
something.
Yes.
How
yes.
tough is this thing?
It's pretty tough. I mean,
On a scale of 1 to
creatures-
10.
big creatures like this mostly deal much more damage and probably go down way
Harder.
slower than us.
Well, my idea would only fuck me up.
Uh,
I can help with bad ideas. 'Cause I have an
Okay.
idea that have messed me up too, I think. Actually, I have a couple of abilities that I can do
Do y'all
outside
mind
of
if I
range.
try something real quick?
Go right
what is
ahead.
it? What is it? No, what is it? I want to know.
I'm going to try and talk to it again.
All right, that's fine.
I will not strike first.
Don't
So I
let
turn
it
to the
strike
flower.
you. Anyway,
I'll try not to. Now, Fireburb guide. Remind me, just so I make sure I'm understanding this correctly. The flower does not take joy in what it's doing. It doesn't like what it's doing. It doesn't want to have to do this.
It seems as though something else is
Okay, it's controlling
either
it.
has control over it or is binding. From what you can tell from what Odysseus is
Okay.
able to give you input on, because you brought Odysseus along, it's like it's like having about 1,000 different like desires happening all at once that are conflicting with one another. That's
Okay.
this flower. The coloration has changed because of the very presence of unresting souls.
Okay.
Like you can see, like on the very tips of the flowers now, of the bulbs, the familiar, like pulsating energy of the echoes that you saw before. It's almost like it's dying the all the petals, the deep reds and black and brackish sort of tones. We call it hues.
Okay.
You get the sense that this is something that is very much in pain, but that
Okay.
because of its inability to really understand what's happening to it, it's just sort of being used as a makeshift like deterrent to anything going inside.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look this flower in the center, in the eye, and say, I know this is not what you imagined yourself to be in right now. I know that right now you are hungry and you don't want to be. I'm going to move past you. I'm going to go into the door behind you. I ask only that you try and contain it, whatever it is, contain it until we can get past you and we can put this thing to rest and we can free you. And I'm going to slowly edge past it and try and get to the doorway slowly. And I'm like, I believe in you. You can contain it. As I talk to this flower, like, I feel real silly, but I'm talking to this flower.
I just want to ask real quick, is it in nearby range of me as well?
Yes, it is
Okay,
nearby
cool.
of all of you.
Cool.
We're just
Good
gonna
to know.
I'm gonna take a guess as to what I know what ability you have on deck. In the event something goes awry.
Yes.
we're gonna TED talk this flower.
We're gonna.
The
Hello. How
you-
about my TED
Please.
talk about not being evil?
Please don't kill me. Please don't kill me.
I would like you to roll me another d20, Serena.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Here's a question for you. Would I be able to gain a kind of advantage by using command nature to kind of have like flowers spring up behind me as I walk, just kind of like comfort it and remind it that I'm part of its world?
Let me ask you this: what ideal
Mhm.
did you choose?
And let me see.
Because we haven't
You mean like
actually touched on this in a while.
the I believe in thing?
Yeah, the I believe in thing. Because we haven't touched on a lot of folks' weaknesses or
Yeah.
their core ideals and beliefs as much in
I
the
believe
campaigns that we're
in
playing.
patience and peace are my ideals.
Then you can take, as per our homebrew rules, you can take advantage for
Oh,
embodying your ideal, for not going
sexy.
straight for violence. So yes, it's sexy.
Wow.
All right, let's do it. Let's see what happens. That's an 11 and a 12, so it is a success.
It is a success. It is. There is, in contrast to all the noise that had been happening in the forest prior, as you're moving closer to it, Serena, there is dead silence.
All right, hang in there. There are 4 more of us. Keep it under control. You can do this. Next is going to be my friend, How. Just deep slurps of the water from below. Deep slurps. But you have this. You have this under control. Allow us to pass, and we will restore you. We just need to protect this place, just like you.
Is that the last gesture towards house? It's like, hurry the fuck up.
Yeah, I'm just like, let's go, let's go, let's go.
Fuck up.
All right.
I just like give Hal a look like, come on.
All right. So I'm just gonna like do that. You know how you do that walk when you see like a spider like on the door when you're
It's
like
the
moving out, just like the
like the
you know, it's just like that one. I'm just
I-
gonna do that, and then at the last moment I'll blink towards the
Okay,
door.
before you get to the blank, I would like you to roll me a d20
Oh
to
no,
see
no,
how
no,
this
no.
goes.
14.
Okay, there is a moment where, as the blink goes off, you see several of the tentacles, of the root tentacles, just coming out of it. And it's like...
It's fine.
Good. Good. You're doing amazing, sweetie. Like, you're doing good. Just two more of us, okay? Just two more of us. And then you can stop. Just two more of us.
3.
3 more of us. Just 3 more of us, and then you can stop. We're almost halfway there.
You are quite literally living on Serena's naturalistic prayers, so this is going quite well.
Nim wants to stay with
Odysseia?
Odysseia. Is Odysseia coming with us?
Odysseia, no. Odyssea's trying to come in. You see Odysseia is the closest of all of you to the flower.
Nim wants to keep with her and is gonna motion for Farron to kind of go.
Okay. The man with the bow, or the them with the bow. Individual. The individual with the bow.
I like the them with the bow.
The them with the bow.
The them bow with the bow.
Yeah.
Them bow with bow.
Oh.
They're going to come in. They're with us. They mean you no harm. They just want to help.
You do watch as out of Odyssea's hands, there seems to be this very faint blue and black light that is slowly seeping into the flower. And you watch as initially the tentacles react poorly, but then it seems as though like they're calming down, almost like she is trying to relieve and heal whatever difficulties the flower is going through right now. So I will give y'all the choice. Would someone like to roll for Farron's, the consequences of Farron trying to get through, or would you like me to roll?
Well, I would like you to roll because I'm not gonna be responsible for this man's life.
That's fair.
None of us are responsible for Farron's mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it'll be my fault.
Oh boy.
Now, thankfully, because of Odysseia spending some of the energy she has,
Advantage.
this will give Farron advantage.
Thank gosh.
She is using up some of her resources to potentially heal and take care of the party to try and entirely get past this difficulty.
I suspect it'll be worth it.
Maybe. We'll see.
Optimism.
Oh, really needed that advantage because the highest roll was a 10.
My God.
Which...
Hey, tough choice.
It's a tough choice, so I will let the party decide what Farron's tough choice is.
Of course.
Will it
I
be
gave away
something...
the responsibility and now we're getting...
Oh, no. You only gave away part of the responsibility.
Yeah.
So, do you want this to be something happens to Farron or something happens to Farron's equipment?
Rather his equipment than himself.
There.
I'd rather their equipment get damaged than Farron.
I agree.
They're
unanimous.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't kill us. Farron.
The vines, like there's a moment where Farron's just trying to be doing the usual Assassin's Creed sort of tiptoe around, and then like just lands in true cartoon-esque fashion on the one branch that snaps. The flower's root vines lash out, and you hear it wraps around Farron, and you hear a distinct snapping sound.
Oh no.
It's the bow.
No. It's the bow again.
Bow.
Because the bow was never fully repaired.
Oh,
Yep.
But,
Whoops. They're not gonna be happy.
They're
not gonna be happy.
Sorry, Jace. I'm
well,
very
at least
sorry.
they didn't get hurt. I mean,
Yeah, exactly. Jace, we
I
kept
think.
them alive,
I hope.
and the bow was already broken. So like,
Don't
save
worry
waste
about
of
it. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Oh,
You're
no.
seeing them starting to lose their composure.
time.
Like, because I feel like this is the kind of thing that would actually
Yeah,
piss
yeah,
off like Farron.
yeah. I'm just like,
What do
okay,
you do?
okay,
You all have a split second to react
okay.
before Farron does something.
I want to blink back to him.
Them.
Them.
Jesus Christ.
It's
I
one of
want to
those
blink
days.
back to them and just like grab I want to grab Farron and be like, hold on, calm down, take deep breaths, please, please, for everyone's sake, take deep breaths.
I'm going to whisper sweet nothings to the flower to keep it calm.
Mhm.
Okay. Serena,
Like, it's okay, it's okay.
I want you to roll me a d20
Like,
to see if this helps.
they just stepped on a branch. It's okay. Everything's gonna be fine. 11.
Okay. The vines are like how you can feel next to Farron. You can feel the vines still trying to tighten, but they start slacking just a little bit.
There you go. Good.
Okay, once I slack a little bit, I just like yank him out, like
No.
into my arms.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just
Awesome.
And then I
And then-
just like drag them
Drag
like
them.
very, very, very slowly back.
Nim, your last one.
All right, one more.
But also, Odysseia.
Odysseia is right next to the flower and the flower does not seem to be bothered by her. It seems as though her taking the time and putting in the abilities to try and calm it down is doing enough to pacify it. Each person, this is
Nim,
essentially like a little thing for each person. Serena succeeded in convincing it. How has managed to go by without issue. Farron failed and as a result lost the bow.
Nim, I would just look over at Odysseia and be like, "Are you coming with?"
I'll be there. I'll be there as soon as I can. Just it's enough that I'm doing what I can to ensure it doesn't actively try and attack us.
But I don't want it to actively attack you.
It will be fine. I'm keeping it as we have about an hour before it becomes to the state it was when we arrived.
Okay.
All right, chamomile. Just one more. I named it chamomile.
Oh my god.
I am the chamomile.
This
Jasmine.
Better than
All
leaf
right,
on the wind.
I guess Nim's gonna try to sneak by it or around it like other people did and avoid the twigs that
Farron stepped on.
that Farron that they so lovingly pointed out to the rest of the group.
Yeah, I'll put it that way. We'll do it that way.
We'll do it that way. All right. Please, dice. That's a 7.
Damn.
Hey, so that's a tough choice.
Yeah, it's a seed still.
Do you want a difficulty with the flower, or do you want a difficulty from the forest?
Oh, where are you? Where's my yes no coin?
Forest,
This is-
forest.
This is yes is forest. Yep, it's a yes. So we're
Okay.
doing forest.
The whole party, you see Odysseia is like trying to keep it calm, and there's a moment as you're moving by where the slight I imagine your armor's just faintly clanky at times, just faintest bit, where it starts to upset the flower, and then it calms down. And Odysseus like has a moment of relief. But Nim, as you get past the flower and you turn back, you see Odysseus has a look of like fear on their face.
No, don't take my
Yes.
wife.
As you're seeing from far off in the distance, from far off, past some of the trees in the immediate area, it looks like something's blinking in between each of the trees. Farron saw this before. A humanoid-sized, massive pincered, termite-like creature.
I forgot about those things.
Yeah,
hate
I
it.
figured y'all did too.
I
That's
hate
why I'm
it.
bringing it up. That's why it was either you deal with the flower or that. You're seeing them coming, and for whatever reason, they seem to be like shadow teleporting amidst all of the different trees. They're getting closer. Your whole party has made it to the front of the temple, but
we
right
need
now,
Odysseus.
no, Odysseus is also she is coming slowly, but she's there. But right now, for all of the party, just so you know what's happening, you've made it to the front of the temple, but you are starting to hear those termite things coming your way.
Mhm.
And you can't tell how many. You saw from what Odysseus was able to mutter very quickly, at least 2 coming, but you don't know if there's more. And the sounds, the sort of clicking noises that they're making, you're starting to hear a little bit of tremors coming from the flower as well.
Yeah.
We
I
should get
It's not
in
like that.
and let the flower deal with it.
True. I want to, even though it's dumb, I want to like go up to Odysseus and just like lend her my arm and just like hold up my shield, and I'll just be like, let's go. Let's go. We gotta go.
Yeah. As a reminder, the opening to the temple itself is it's purely open. They will have very easy means to get in to follow you unless you do something to block it off. Right now, this is a question of what are you doing in this moment? Because right now you're hearing the plant also starting to get agitated again because you're hearing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, will the plant attack them if they get close enough?
Maybe. Who knows?
What I can do is the plant's outside the.
Plant is on the outside. It's like at the bottom of the steps. You just had to get past it, and the opening's right there. But because it's just a full-on opening to the temple,
they will
like they could follow you in unless you do something.
Yeah.
Okay. I
mean,
I say everyone in.
But...
I say everyone in. I look at the plant and I'm like, hang in there. We've got this. I'm gonna step back beyond like inside the doorway. Once everyone else is also inside, tell me if I'm overreaching with this guy. But I want to use command nature to cause. I can do things like trees rustle, leaves to fall, plants to bloom, vines to expand, and seeds to sprout. What I'm hoping to do is block off the doorway using any existing plant life and having like the vines cover the doorway.
That sounds very cool.
Harmless effect by moving or growing slightly.
Okay, it's not enough.
I will say that even with the improvement to cause damage, it will be a deterrent, but it won't block them off. So I'll put it to you this way: you don't know how long it will hold them back for. But if you spend the ability point to upgrade it to the damaging one, it could essentially be like a thorn wall you could create from the nearby foliage, but you don't know how long that's going to last or hold them back.
Okay.
That sounds like a good mechanism of suspense.
Done. I'll spend the point.
Yeah, you watch as the doorway just it's best way I can describe it in terms of how it grows over and how it spreads. If anyone's ever seen the mycelium for fungi and how they spread across the ground and just sort of stretch out, it just starts slowly covering over and trying to form almost like a hard amber covering on the doorway, and then it has thorns sticking out of it, and you're hearing, like, it covers up the doorway and you can't see it. It becomes opaque. But wait, opaque's the one you can't see through, right? Am I remembering that word
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Translucent is the other one.
Yes. Right.
Yeah.
Thank you. I knew. I was like,
Yeah. You're good.
and you hear as you hear the clicking noises get louder.
Let's go.
Okay, guys, we have I don't know minutes. Let's go.
And then you also hear outside as
Flower.
vines are just lashing out at what sound. It could maybe only be a few of them. It also feels like it's a dozen of them. It's really hard to tell.
Go chamomile, go.
Let's go.
And you're pretty much, I'd say, Serena, the last sight you see is the flower like lashing out at some of these, and you also see, like, as some of the buds are beginning to crack open from these creatures are using their pincers to try and stab at it. It looks as though some of the vines are reaching down to the bodies at the bottom of the mound, and they're like breaking them apart and healing the buds, like it's feeding on its own corpses to heal itself.
Okay. I like gross, but at the same time, I like chamomile, and I would like them to stay alive.
Yes.
I have developed a bond with this flower.
Oh goodness.
Yeah, but you all are inside. It is a massive entryway you are in right now. You feel like dwarfed by comparison in terms of just everything around you, and there is a pair of double doors, essentially double doors in front of you.
Are there any lights inside?
There's very little light in this right now. With the doorway, like all the light was coming in from the main doorway, which you have blocked off. So, and if there's light, it's from what you can hear. Must be the sound of several termite-like creatures trying to barricade bash their way into the doorway.
So
Yeah.
I'm going to very quickly try to light a torch if we are in a stone area.
And
I'm going to very quickly try to light that and be like, let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah, I would like to walk up to those double doors and try and push them open.
Audience, I would like you to roll me a d20 real quick.
Oh, I don't like the way that she said that.
17.
Okay. I need to roll a d4 real quick. Okay, you avoid the worst one.
Okay.
Winter, spring, summer. Yeah, it's the summer. You watch as the double doors flare up with what look like vibrant colors and energy. And there's all around essentially the points where like the joints or the framing of the door would be. It looks like there's a pinkish sort of hue toned energy. It's almost like if you imagine sort of like a welding torch, the kind of way that things have been shut all around the edges of a doorway, if you were trying to like seal it up, the pink energy is emanating out from what appears to be the central chamber. And you watch as 4 panels appear across the doorway. And as you try and like open it and force it open, one of the panels with what looks like a circle and like little triangles depicting like a sun flares up, and you just avoid watching as your hands almost get scalded by that fragment of the panel.
Oh.
Interesting. I go, I pull my head back and I go, hot. Okay, maybe not do that.
Is the door not opening? What?
I don't. I tried, but then I almost got freaking scalded, like absolutely burnt. Even though I have gauntlets on, but you know, it's fine.
Should probably make it easier
Is
for your hands to
there-
get scalded because it's heating up the metal.
Yeah.
So in there,
Yeah,
my hands are right
true.
here.
So you said there are 4 panels, right?
There's 4 panels.
So a sun and what else?
You see one that looks like a depiction of a snowstorm, one that looks like leaves falling onto a ground, and another one that looks like blooming flowers.
Interesting.
Oh, I'm gonna regret this. I'm gonna try the one with blooming flowers.
I need a d20 from you.
Oh, I'm sure
A
you
d20
do.
roll from you.
All right.
No, don't say it.
What did you roll?
God.
Oh,
Can I intercept this? Is
It's,
that a thing I can do?
I'm gonna say on this occasion, no.
It's not an
Because
attack.
it's not
Maybe.
necessarily an attack.
And it's also not an
something-
NPC, I
I
think.
rolled
Yeah.
I rolled like 8,302, but to the power of 0.
Damn.
I get that
Yeah.
joke. I get that reference.
Thank you.
appreciate
Thank
you.
you. Yeah, I appreciate you too.
So I'll put it to you this way. Do you want something to
No.
happen to you, or do you want something to happen to your magic on the doorway that you just barred?
Ooh. I think they're both interesting choices. Oh my gosh. Let's go with something happens to me.
You watch as what looks like pinkish hued vines just burst out of this panel from right where the flower depictions are, and they latch onto you, and some of it feels like life is being drained out of you, but the actual unsettling thing about this, or the additionally unsettling thing outside of the necrotic life vines, is you recall how Farron described the way that those creatures, the humanoid ones, talked to them. It feels like an alien presence is inside your head, and it feels like your head is boiling right now. You take 2 points of damage.
Just like, ow.
Yeah, it feels. Imagine if you got a migraine, but also it feels like the blood vessels are almost actually about to burst.
Ah, amazing.
Can I like cut the vines with my sword?
well, no, the vines are our friends. I thought it's the
I don't
metal
think-
doorway that.
Yeah, but there were vines that came out of it
Yeah,
that
they came
wrapped
out of
around
it.
her.
Oh, okay.
So I want to cut those.
That yeah, fair.
Make an attack on that.
Sure.
It's a
No.
d20 roll.
This reminds me of that time I
Well-
was hanging out. Oh,
That's a 9.
oh. Well, tough choice.
Would you like something to happen to your sword again, or something to happen?
To Serena.
To who?
Actually, yeah, let's do it that way. Would you like it to
Oh,
your
Like-
sword or to
God.
Serena?
Yeah, like she could accidentally slice me in half, like,
I mean, I'm not going to
Sharp
do that.
only in quarters, sorry. Maybe a
Well-
finger.
We'll see.
Is this the magic sword? Just checking.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's a magic sword.
I mean,
too.
it's the only one I use these days. I mean, who
Howdian, what are you gonna do? It's your call. Do you want something to happen to Serena, or do you want something to happen to your sword?
I'd like something to happen to my sword.
The vines start. You make the attack, and it's like a foul necrotic presence eeps out of it like a liquid and starts coating the
no.
blade. You know that blink ability your sword has?
Yeah.
It's temporarily discontinued for a little bit.
Okay. That's fine. If Serena's free, that's all I care about.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
you do
sweet.
manage to get rid of it, but yeah.
I look at my sword briefly, like with a weird look, and then I look at Serena and I go, "Are you okay?"
Ow.
Just take a second or something. It's
Yep. Yep.
yeah.
I mean, yeah. Ow.
I turn to Odysseus
Um,
and I'm like, what? What do we do? Help!
I look
This
over at
is-
Farron and I'm just like, I get it now.
This.
Sorry, Farron. You were right.
I believe
Don't get used to hearing that.
Oh my god!
you
Don't
saying
make this
that, and
my
they're
while
not
he's
even
not
around.
here.
They're not
Eh.
here. Yeah, well, they're not here.
They're not
I love
here.
you unconditionally, Jace, and I want you to know that you are very frequently correct.
It's not as
Oh my
fair.
god.
No.
Anyway,
So Odysseus strives forward, and you see them. Okay, you can see them. She's also starting to get a little frazzled because caring for the flower took a fair bit out of her, but also she thinks, well, we have a couple of options. The immediate things that I can think of are either one, I can try and prepare something to commune with what seems to be present in the door. Perhaps I can ask any of the spirits that are nearby, given we've established a rapport with things around here, and see if we can perhaps remove the presence from the door that way with a little bit of your aid. Or we try and find another way around this, perhaps a little bit more direct and perhaps desecrating, but
No.
what's up?
This is the only entrance, right?
Uh, that's why. Essentially, what she's trying to say is, if you would like to try and more bully your way into the area through more destructive means, that is an
We
option.
could blast it.
yeah, I
yeah,
mean, I would love to
but-
do it, but
But bear in mind, you don't know from what she's able to convey to you. You don't know what the consequences will be to doing that in terms of how the temple will react. Because you get the strong sense this place still is kind of living. It
Yeah.
has its own will.
Mhm.
And also, you don't know what else is here, given that that pink energy around the door seems to be barring things from coming in. So it
Yeah.
might suggest something else is already here.
The pink energy
Lovely.
is just like someone welded it shut, right?
Yeah, like it's like emanating out. Like it has that kind of like that's to imagine it, but it's like energy coming out from inside the room.
Interesting. Okay. So it's like seeping
And-
through the cracks.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it looks as though it when the scalding effect happened and when the vines erupted out, like there was a very faint flash of pink energy that looks as though it's leaking into the panels and causing the effects. It doesn't look as though the panels necessarily want to do that of their own accord.
Okay. I look at Odysseus and I say, try the first thing. I'll try and hold them off, and I'll just
Yeah.
like turn around.
That's basically like that's the caveat. It's essentially I'm giving you sort of as a group a tough choice situation to deal with. If you try
Yeah.
and find another means to get in, you have to use resources or just hope your rolls are work well enough for that. Or you can try and do the ritual, which is more likely to succeed, but it takes time and you don't know how long that thorn wall is going to last.
Mm-hmm.
I vote ritual.
I vote
I don't
for
want to break
ritual
this
too.
place.
I vote ritual, and I definitely have an idea, but that might take a bit to explain, and I think we're on
Yeah,
break.
I think with this very tense moment of the party in essentially the foreground, the entryway to the Forgotten Temple, to Zahara, the primeval maiden, trying to figure out what threat is currently affecting and corrupting this place, while what sounds like a horde of termite humanoids are descending upon them on the outside, while a massive corrupted flower hosting souls who have not yet laid to rest is thrashing about outside. That is where we're going to take our break. So we'll be back in about 5 to 10 minutes. As we're leaving off on a very tense moment right now. I'll give you all some time to, as always, get water, use the bathroom, take your meds if you haven't. I haven't taken mine, which is why I'm saying that right now for my own benefit. And come back as we get into more of this tense episode. Tense and
Yes.
intense episode.
Yes. Please come back. Please join us.
So we will see you
Oh.
shortly, everyone.
Let's
Take
have
care.
some
We'll
fun.
see you. Hello there, everyone. Thank you again for joining us as we are back into it on our Quest RPG campaign for Plains of Providence, where our players are currently in the midst of a rather tense situation where they have a necrotic, necromantically and/or undeadly inclined flower outside thrashing about and appearing to hold off several termite-like humanoids that are attempting to bash their way into a thorn wall constructed impediment created by the party's naturalist, as the group is seeing that their current situation has put them between a 4-panel door and a termite hard place.
That's good. I like it.
And so, as we get into that, you watch, we jump back in as Odysseia has begun just sitting down on the floor and beginning to sing something under her breath and seemingly trying to pull the energy out of the door and try and break whatever hold is currently infused in these panels. But in order to do this, if you want to facilitate this happening faster, you must provide some kind of offering or demonstrate, give some sort of explanation as to how you might try and invoke what she determines are the 4 seasons. If you can offer something or can do some sort of act to represent something of goodwill, the sign of respect, or just some sort of offering in the name of one of these 4 seasons, you can facilitate the ritual occurring faster and the removal of the bars to the door, the metaphorical bars to the door.
I got one.
Hey, Farron, you got those cool ice arrows, right?
They do.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Yeah, I do have something. I I take out the previous greatsword that I had that I'm not using anymore because I'm using the blink blade. And I go over to the door and I kneel and I like present the sword and I go, in the name of summer, it's fire burning wild like my passion for battle and strength. Take this sword as an offering.
And you watch as you present the sword seems to float up and press itself against that panel of the door. And as Odysseia keeps singing, you see a node, a small little cluster of purple orbs appear right next to her and attach themselves to that panel as well. And through the sword, you watch it rise. And it's almost like it cuts right, like it's drawing a clean cut right through the panel. And you see you hear a sound as that panel shuts down. And you watch as a pink faint aura just emanates and dissipates off of that segment of the panel.
And I stand up and I just like do a greeting to Obira, and then I take a few steps back.
Nim is currently watching the vines.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, somebody else do something,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah, you are hearing right now, Nim, because you're the one immediately watching the door.
Oh boy.
And you're hearing like creatures like yelping back in pain. It's looking like the thorns are hurting them. And you're also starting to see though, light is starting to poke through at the very bottoms of it, and you see the very tips of a claw trying to get under, and then you watch as the edges of a long root vine pulls the claw back, and you just hear a yelp being thrown away.
Chamomile!
I like go over to the door.
For now, Nim is going to grab their shield and place it over the light and be like, okay, so somebody else do.
All right, I got it. I'm going to take some of the leaves, the ivy, the vines that I have in my hair.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to let them fall to the ground in front of the door and say, for the spirit of autumn, the IDK, my hair.
I thought you meant DK as in like
wither
away.
I just like I address the panel and I'm like, fall, leaves, get it?
Roll me a d20 on this one. This is a little bit of a harder sell. I'm gonna go with. So let's make it down to fate.
Beautiful.
Okay, let's do it. 12.
It is enough. You actually see the fragment of ivy in your hair. A piece of it breaks off and falls down with some of the leaves. And it's like they spread out. And it's almost like a little, it's almost like a bushel just sort of occurs of just leaves and flowers that slowly float up and overtake that panel for autumn. And you see a green set of orbs appear, go over, and once again you hear the and the pinkish aura just dissipates off of it. 2 left. Also in this moment, Nim and Howdian.
Oh my.
The bottom half of the thorn walls is breaking. You're starting to see there's about 3 or 4 of these creatures. They look bloodied and like they're not doing very well, but there's at least 4 of them right there, and you hear more back.
Okay.
I just look at Nim and I say go, and I draw my sword and I try to like hack at the claws coming through.
I just shout back, I have 2 more ideas, just hold them back, y'all.
I don't have a favorite season.
That's okay. That's okay. I got 2 more ideas. I'm good.
It doesn't matter.
Oh,
Just do
yeah,
something.
Make Farron do something.
Yeah,
please.
yeah. You hear after you say the favorite season. No, you don't need to have a fucking favorite season. Just do something, and then you see them pull back the arrow and like see them breathe. Like there's that. Imagining like if the camera is going behind, pans behind their view. It's that very cliched sort of like
The side
perspective.
view.
Yeah, the side view, but you see them like take a breath and like I like to imagine if like the camera's happening there, like it's like a very quick pan back to Farron seeing the primeval maiden and also hearing like Serena's words in their head. And then you just see
Like
Frost.
exhale cold air.
Yes, that's actually a cool idea. I'm gonna go with that one. Cold air emanates out from their mouth and wraps around the arrow and it hits dead center for where the winter panel is. And once again, you hear
All
3
right.
down.
Wait, what's the one that's left?
Summer.
Spring.
No, wait, summer's summer. It's spring.
Spring.
See something vibrant, something with life.
I have an idea.
Um.
Howdian, I need a d20 roll from you to keep from being pulled away from the party right now, as the claws, all 4 of them, are trying to lash out and grab at your legs right now.
If Nim is still
90.
blocking it with their shield, can they? Never mind. Don't need help.
I don't need help. It's fine. Just go. Do something.
You are like using the like more pointed end of the shield and like breaking some of the claws to get them off of you.
It's like a big shield as well. Like, I don't fuck around.
And you're seeing the flower. It's at this point with the creatures pulling back. The flower is in a very bad state. Like
I don't like it.
multiple bulbs are like smashed open, and it looks like the flower is like there's barely any of the mound is considerably lower to the ground now.
I just shout, "Hold on, chamomile. We'll get you later. It's fine. Don't worry."
It's fine.
So everything's gonna be okay.
Gonna be
No,
okay.
I am going to. Okay, this is a very, very long shot. I'm going to burn an AP to cast Fiery Avenger on my gauntlet.
Okay.
So literally, the visual for this is Nim is going to run away from, so they're tossing their shield off of their arm towards the door. They're going to cast, while they're moving, Fiery Avenger on the gauntlet. It's going to go up in pink flame, and they're just going to press it against the panel for spring and be like, gods, I don't know. Lady of Change, don't fuck me over now. Give me flower petals.
So you're banking on pure luck for this one just to see if it works.
Also an AP point. Also, I forget.
Not an offering.
Sarah. Well, Sarah is the
Yeah.
Lady of Change, which is one of the gods that Nim follows.
Yep. So
I hope this works. I sure hope it does.
roll me 2 d20s.
Okay. I'm glad I did, because one's an 18, the other one was a 5.
Okay. I'm gonna make this interesting.
Oh boy.
I'm going to roll a d100 and I'll let you know what happens.
Oh my.
Okay. You know, you hear in your head, I think even this is pushing your luck a little bit, but we'll let it go for now.
Thanks.
Hold on. And you watch as the gauntlet lands it's you start feeling like the gauntlet, its flame starts overtaking your whole hand. And it burns. It burns a lot. But the warmth after a certain point becomes almost comforting. Like think like icy hot pad, kind of like levels of like heat comfort.
I see. That's good.
And then
His hands hurt a lot.
yeah. And then flowers actually begin blooming on the edge of it. But the flowers have interesting colors to them. Some of them are bronze tones, some of them are silver, some of them are gold. It's a very strange set of colors. It's like currency got changed into plant life. And as you do that, you hear one last and the ward dissipates off. But this one, there is a little bit more of a kick to it as everyone else watches as Nim gets launched back at the thorn door. You're going to take 2 damage for essentially the burn and the getting launched, and you are right next to the creatures trying to get in.
Woot!
So it worked, but it came with some complications.
I mean, what do you expect from the what's it, the ever-changing goddess?
Yeah.
But so right now, here's the situation. You hear Odysseus sing, and as she finishes her song, the energy around the door dissipates, and the door opens up.
Can we close the door behind us when we go in?
It's you can.
Let's just run for right now. Let's
Let's
run.
go. Let's
Yeah.
go.
I gotta avoid getting grabbed anyway.
Yeah, Nim, I need you to roll me another d20. As
Yeah.
that will be your additional complication to try and get through this moment without getting pulled back and falling behind.
That's a straight 10.
Okay. Do you want something personally valuable to be lost, or do you want equipment in general to be lost?
Okay, what I feel like personally valuable is more interesting, and
So,
also
is there anything that Nim carries on her person at all times that would not want to ever be without?
Yeah, the mason hammer.
You watch as the creatures, they try and grab a hold, like because of the hooked nature of the like termite claw pincers, they're like trying to drag you, and you manage to like, with I'm assuming Howdian's help, because Howdian is not going to avoid brawling and leaving an ally behind. Howdian manages to like just punch one right in the face, but with the pointed edge of the shield, knocks it out. But in like pulling you out, Mason Hammer tips out and falls to the floor.
I'm assuming that's outside the vines. Yeah.
Oh no, there's no outside of the vines anymore. Well, by the time the ritual finishes, you just all of it has crumbled down, and the flower is it's barely thrashing around anymore.
Okay, run.
I just say go, and I try to pick up the hammer anyways.
No.
I do.
Nope, let's go.
No, you watch as Odysseus like collects in their hand like this small like little orb of energy and fires a magic blast at one of the ones that tries to leap at Howdian as she is pulling Nim up. Mm-hmm. It's like, get inside. We have to stop whatever's here. If we stop this, we can end everything.
Just run.
Let's
Just
go.
run.
Let's go.
Doors close.
Did I get the chance to pick up the hammer or no?
You're going to be the last one to try and get in, and you have 4 creatures still on you.
Don't
It's your
do
call.
it. Please
It's your
don't.
call, Howdian.
Mm, 4 creatures on me. I could make it. And I am a big, strong lady.
What would Howdian do in this situation?
She
'Cause
would
I
pick
don't
up
know.
the hammer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I need a d20 to see if these things. I need a d20 roll from you to see if these things get a chance to attack you immediately, or if they're just going to try and chase you.
Mm-hmm.
This is to see how well you fend them off in the immediate moment.
16.
Okay. There is a moment where Nim, you're turning around, and before the doors are closing entirely, the group notices Howdian is struggling to keep up, and you're watching as 4 pairs of pincers from 4 new of these creatures that have just appeared, because the last thrashing of the flower seems to reach out and pull the 4 that were hurt, but 4 new ones have appeared and try and go for Howdian. Howdian, you reach back with the sword just to try and just make any sort of attempt to cut. And there is a moment where you do not see the creatures. You see the beast once again in front of you. And the sword in your mind glows a light with flame, and it cuts across all of them just enough to push them back for a moment. It's all the time you're getting. Are you staying back or are you running?
Well, if I can pick up the hammer before
You have the
running,
hammer. You have the hammer. You have the hammer now.
then after the beast has been pushed back, I will run. And I will
Okay.
before the door closes, I look back and I just stare it straight in the eyes and just growl.
You get through, and you, catching your breath, you all turn to see a massive chamber in front of you. The center of it, almost like a deep hole dug in, where once must have been filled with dozens, perhaps hundreds of flowers that now appear to be wilting. A strange pinkish energy trying to grow out of them and through them. And you're seeing, let's go with one of those, and yes, let's go with those 4. You see one corner, you see across the four segments of the room, 4 beams of light emanating out of what look like 4 small statues of depicting figures that look strange and profane. Some of them perhaps of a fiendish sort of nature, some of them of an alien-like nature, some of them of the most heinous of fae-like creatures, and another that's just an amalgamation of all of them. And you see the familiar, almost like tar covered, like if I'm trying to remember the name of the Dark Souls boss, I think the Gaping Dragon, I think, was my best comparison I had for
Yo, can
their
I
body.
gape in here?
I'm gonna go with no for that comment.
Come on.
It's like a humanoid form whose body, like split right down the middle, is like opening up
Gross.
But you really only see the face part of it. You see a
Is
pair
this-
of those. You see one of the scythe, the quadrupedal scythe, almost scythe-legged creatures with the long bluish skin, alien, and long croning xenomorph-like neck. You see another one of these nearby that is more greenish, furry-ended, and more spider-like. And you also see, accompanying the pair of these individuals, a shorter creature who it looks similar to these other humanoids, except much smaller and a singular eye that, even just staring at it, seems to invite a sense of fear and unease. It's this massive yellow and red eye. It's just peering at all of you.
Is this the part where the doors slam behind us?
Oh, totally.
Oh, well, you already
Oh.
closed it. You're
Yeah.
hearing pounding behind you.
No, now comes the portcullis that just
Mhm.
shut, you know?
Now comes us fighting for our lives.
Yeah. I just go over to Nim and I nonchalantly like hand over the hammer. And I'm like,
Just like
here,
chuck
got
it
it.
in the air here. Got it.
Yeah, here, I got it.
And
Question,
You just-
is my gauntlet still on fire? Because
Yeah.
technically that spell lasts for an hour, but I figured I burned it up.
yeah, it got burnt. That was part of the consequence of all of that.
Yep, I
Is that
figured.
it worked. It was such a long shot to work. It worked, but it had severe consequences. Namely, it doesn't get the effect. You'll have to recast it. And you got jettisoned against the thorn wall. It was actually Nim being jettisoned against the thorn wall that finished up the last bit of the wall's in structural integrity.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's
Yeah,
fine.
you know, it did what I had to do.
It wasn't going to last much longer anyways. It was like
Yeah.
whole segments were like already having the like cracked effect to it.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
Well, you know, Alexa, this is very exciting. Play "Don't Stop Me Now" by Queen.
I
Okay,
appreciate you so much, Jen.
Nim's just looking at how thanks, and then looks over at everything and goes, okay, who looks meanest?
I
The Gaping Dragons.
that too.
The Gaping Dragons.
You disturb our work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah. How dare you at a sacred place?
Corrupt our work, and you
That was-
will perish for it.
The interrupting was kind of the point, just so we're clear, right?
You see the creatures beginning to move closer.
I'm assuming Farron is already like this. because
Yes,
that's what
yes.
Farron-
Farron's default is.
There
So this is going to move into an action scene / combat.
Nice.
Amazing.
As a reminder to where you're at, you have currently 2 gaping dragon humanoids, 2 distinct alien creatures that you recognize as the Ravagers. There's 2 different kinds of the Astral Ravagers, and 1 smaller of these sort of like of these apostle-like creatures, who also seems to have an almost spiny armored back to his person.
So we
They're all in range, I will say.
Farron they are protected against the Ravagers because they still have the coat, which means they still have the sigil.
Yes. So that is still in effect as long as you don't do anything to change that.
I can't now because sigil can't be cast in combat, I don't think.
Well, if the ability doesn't save, then yeah, that's where we're at. But
Cool. I
as-
smite the apostle.
which one? Okay, before anything else, which one? And secondly, just as a reminder, you see 4 things here that look as though they're channeling energy into the pit, and you're watching as you've been saying anything to the creatures. Serena especially sees there is a tear beginning to happen.
Are any of the apostles channeling energy?
The two of them seem to be they're both dead set and focused on the party. It looks as though the pillars have to be dealt with separately from the apostles, or rather can be. You could try and deal with the apostles, or you could try and do something with the pillars, but as it stands, you currently have 5 enemies.
I don't think...
You have 5 people who seem hostile. You have 5 beings who are hostile to you. Whether or not you choose to treat all of them as enemies, given what Serena knows and likely conveyed to the group.
Yeah, I would probably have said like,
for...
hey, like try and leave the Ravagers. They don't know. They're sad.
Yeah, I remember that. That's why I said Ice might which of the apostles looks meaner? Or are they just the same?
They're just about the same.
Cool. Nim just goes eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Okay. I am gonna have to double check one quick thing real quick about the wording on something they might have. No, I don't think yours is a spell. I think yours is just an ability. Yeah, so that does not work.
Yeah.
Does not work on you. So let's do a quick old gander over there on the Invoker, how much this is going to hurt them.
10 hit points immediately.
Jesus.
Wow.
That is a lot. And that's about a third of your AP for the day, I think, if not more.
Yeah, I was up at 15, I think.
Yeah, and you used Fiery Avenger once.
And I used 1 AP.
Yeah, so you're at 9 now. So one of the creatures immediately, it's like divine light just starts erupting all across its form. But it's still up.
Oh.
That was not enough to deal with it. It's quite angry.
Nim's just gonna be like, this is bad. And
okay. Cool.
Move mildly away from the thing that I just hurt really bad.
Really bad, and also pissed off quite a lot.
Oh yeah, right. I'm going to. Are you done?
Yeah, that's it. That's movement. Okay. And
yeah, Farron is going to take a shot, and I'm going to roll to see if they're, I'm going to say, insightful enough to pick up something based off of the situation and what they read in it. They are. You watch them. They are going to burn like the max on the ranger ability, the Deadeye, and they're going to take a shot at one of the pillars. Because it's an auto critical hit, because they're spending the full ability, I'm going to write that down as a note to tell them. You see one of the pillars turn off, and the rip that's happening, it flares violently.
How many pillars are there? 4?
There's 4. You don't know how strong all of them are, but given Farron's thing was a pretty like dead shot, it could be a low amount of damage. It could be that only magic can affect some of them. You don't know. You just know that from Farron being insightful enough what you said and the situation, picked up that targeting the pillars will do something, and it might help your situation.
Okay.
A question: is my blade still covered in goop?
Yep.
Sad. Okay. Yes, Sorna.
I'm going to I think unleash kind of like an enraged like scream that will turn into a howl as I shapeshift into a giant wolf.
That's so cool.
That's that good shit.
It's a fun time. Okay. And then I'm going to run up and ram one of the pillars with as much force as I can.
Okay, roll me a d20 to see how much damage you're able to do.
Oh, yikes. That is a 13. My attacks hit for 3.
The pillar starts shaking. It's not quite cracked enough, and it looks like this one is far sturdier than the other one was. It looks like Farron's shot managed to get the one that was the weakest so far, from what you can tell. This is going to take a little bit more to deal with, but you do
That's
see
chill.
again the rift. It's flaring up, and it's looking like it's still trying to open things up, even with the diminished capacity. And you also watch. Everyone watches as Serena has gained the full attention of the entire set of creatures.
Yeah, that's fair.
I was kind
That's
of
fair.
trying to draw fire there, but good job.
Mm-hmm.
I have extra hit point pools. It's fine.
This is fine. This is fine.
Oh God.
What's the worst that can happen?
Exactly.
Sounds
I
like
guess
that.
it's my quote unquote turn then.
Yep.
So question. Because I made my own card, the Rage of the Fire Lily. It says it's either another attack or another movement. But could it
Yes.
also be another ability or no?
I think because it's a homebrew ability, I think we're gonna just cap it at either movement or attack. I think, just to be fair. That
Got
might
it.
change later for reasons.
Interesting. Well, wow. Are any of the creatures nearby to me?
They are all in range, so it's either immediate, nearby, in range. They would be nearby if you use movement to move up one.
Okay. Which means I'm gonna move, then I'll well no, I won't be able to do that because then oh God. So
If there's something
I can
if
move
there's-
and do an ability, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But basically, you have an action and a movement for your. That's
Okay.
basically your turn. An action can be very loosely interpreted as maybe do something that we can have set down to a d20 roll to change the environment. You could be something to try and help your allies. It could be something interacting to hinder your enemies.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't just have to be the ability.
Yeah. So I'm gonna move so that like the biggest, the brawniest, the scariest one is nearby to me. Which one would that be?
Probably one of the bigger Ravagers.
Okay.
One the green skinned one. The green toned furry Ravager is one of the bigger threats.
Got it.
The Ravagers don't know what they're doing though.
And so I'll move up close to that one and I'll use provoke.
Oh boy.
And I'll look up at him and I go, "Hey, ugly." And I just like I make some flourishes with my sword and I just go, "You want some of this? Let's go."
And because of provoke, it's basically all of its attention suddenly turns to Howdian.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Serena has taken her turn. Nim has taken as a smited a creature and been surprised that it's not gone.
Yeah, that
Howdian,
was great.
I mean, you heard it a lot, but
And everyone is looking at me except for that one Ravager that's looking at Hal.
Yep. And Farron has
Nice.
taken their shot and taken out one of the pillars, and Serena has worked on one. Odyssea is going to try and follow up with Serena's course of action, and will use Magic Strike and will attempt to fire off a shot at the pillar with Serena. However, rolls a 2.
Ooh.
So I'm gonna have the shot misses, so it doesn't hit the pillar. It hits some of the architecture around it, and segments of the ceiling fall down and are now trapping Serena in place as the giant wolf.
Oh no, sad wolf.
Yes. So that was all of y'all's turn.
Spaghettios.
Now it is the creature's turn. The creature, the small one, like scuttles forward so it's nearby to all of you. Like just ambles forward, and then it just peers directly at Nim. And it feels that sensation that Serena went through of feeling like the blood vessels in her head were boiling starts happening to you as you feel like this unpleasant, like the worst migraine you have ever experienced in your life just starts flaring up. You take two necrotic damage from this rotting gaze that it unleashes on you. And then because the Ravager, the bigger furried one, it seemed to have been given a command earlier. It turns to look at you, Serena.
Yeah. That's me.
But here's the thing. It doesn't try and lash out at you.
Uh-oh.
You feel this gnawing presence in your head.
Oh, hell nah.
Oh, nope.
And you feel this compulsion to protect this creature against these terrible, terrible beings.
Sorry, guys.
As it enraptures you. However, this is oddly actually to your benefit because you cannot move closer to your allies because of Odysseus' missed shot. So it actually gives up its turn. But you, on your next turn, you have to decide what you would do to try and either get out of this situation or hurt your party members as best you can. You feel this command of attack. You can interpret that however you will, as the creature is not very clear in its commands.
Okay.
And you then watch as the more scythe-bladed quadrupedal one moves up closer to the rest of your allies, and you watch as it just opens up its mouth and it lets out a screech, and every single one of your allies, you watch as a spray of acid emanates out of its mouth.
Yeah, there it is.
I'm in danger.
Chuckles, I'm in danger.
You're all going to take 2 points of acid damage from that one.
Oof.
Lovely gal.
And then
Such a sad puppy I am right now.
And then one of the hurt one of the apostles just turns to look at Nim, and just you watch as the hand just rises up and it like gestures towards you, and you hear in your head the word break. It is going to use its mind shatter ability, and you feel like your senses are entirely cut off from reality.
That's great.
So for next turn, you are essentially incapacitated.
Oh, great. Oh, bad. Oh, that's bad.
And then the other still alive and thriving apostle also raises its hand, but this one raises up towards Farron and you watch as pooling from out of the ground, a familiar tar-like construct of a hand appears and just starts crushing them. Farron will take 2 damage from that. They can only do this once, but they can do this from farther away. And they have to focus on this. So that is all of their turns. And as this turn has ended, you watch as the rift opens a little bit.
Hell no.
It's a timed boss battle.
The thing is, I don't even know if we kill them. I don't even know that if we kill the portal, does that even stop them? Shit.
We
Probably
start by
not,
killing the pillars.
This is my reaction I'm going to give you to that statement.
Lovely.
It is now the party's turn. What you gonna do?
Ooh.
Nothing.
Serena.
I would like to please try and break free of my rocks and try and murder my friends.
Okay, roll a d20 to see how successful you are at breaking out of rocks.
Don't do that.
Please roll low, Jen. Please roll low. That's an 8.
So it'll be
Yay!
a tough call. It'll either hinder your ability to attack next turn, or the enemies will pick up on the fact that you feel, Serena, at the end of your turn, like that gnawing presence, it's fading. But to coincide with your tough choice, I'll let you decide whether or not your ability to attack your enemies is hindered, or whether or not your enemies pick up faster that you're no longer under their control.
I think they pick it up. I think they pick up faster.
Yeah, like you see the more green toned one just sort of looks at you with its long outstretched neck and goes,
How dare you? I look back at it and like I raise a single furry paw and I go.
Just flip it
is that
off
my
with a
turn?
furry paw. Yeah, that would be your turn, unfortunately.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Farron on their turn is just gonna try and just be like, oh fucking hell, need me to do everything. And just fires another shot, is gonna burn the points again to just make sure that the pillars are going down. The second one shatters, and now the creatures are turning their attention again, all now to Farron. And Farron is trying to back up
all around me.
Yeah, but Farron is also can't back up much more because they're starting to hear from behind them. There's pounding on the doors as well.
Bang, bang, bang.
So
bang. So now that I see that every time a pillar is being damaged, attention is being turned onto them. I just want to draw as much attention to me because I don't want my friends to be getting like any of the attention of the bad guys.
I want you to die.
No, that's fine. I so I'm nearby of this creature. I don't know if I run away and we'll get an opportunity attack, but
no, there's
that's
nothing
fine.
like that in the system because
Amazing.
why?
I love it. And so I just well the provoke lasts for a minute.
Yeah. So that creature, after I think the one that you provoked, that it was just trying to capture Serena and then was turning its attention to you again from being pissed off.
Yeah.
It's still focused on you now. It seems like it wants to go for the wolf, but it's also like it just can't get over you taunting it.
Who can? Anyway, I will go over to one of the pillars and do Rage of the Fire Lily and attack twice.
Okay.
The pillar. I'll attack the pillar twice.
Okay.
Pray for me.
Pray for me now.
Okay. 19 and a 10.
Okay. One slice of it, it cleaves off a segment. The pillar is still standing, like the energy coming out of it is still working. The second one, as this blade is going to go, do you gain the attention of more of the enemies, or does something happen to the weapon?
No, I gain the attention of all the enemies.
Okay. Next turn, all of them are seeing that you are suddenly like becoming much more of a threat than they wanted.
Lovely. Let's
So
go.
they are now all going to converge on you as best they can.
That's all right. It's all right. Do I break it though? The pillar?
It crumbles and shatters to the floor.
Nice. One more to go. One more to go. One more to go, everyone.
Yeah.
And I turn around and I see all their looks on me, and I like, well,
How hurt are you, Howdian?
I have 8 hit points, so
Okay.
That's not bad.
It's not bad. It will be bad when you take 12 attacks.
I have things.
Mm. Hey, I got all their attention last time, so
So Odyssea is going to try, is like torn, but sees that one of the apostles is pretty hurt from Nim's previous smite. So I'm gonna double check because I believe this is exactly how that ability reads for Magic Strike, because Magic Strike is very nifty like that. Wizard Magic Strike. There it is. It's one of the first ones. Yeah, it does exactly that amount. You watch as she just focuses even more intently, and she pulls together an even bigger orb of energy into her hands, and she spends additional ability points to auto hit 4 damage on the hurt apostle.
Whoa.
And in doing so, you watch as the beam of energy one of the apostles is down.
Amazing.
And you also watch as that happens that the bigger of the creature of the ravagers, so the green toned one, this goes and just sort of like turns its head, like it's confused, like what's happening.
oh, poor
That's
thing.
good. That's good. Good job.
Yes, but poor thing.
So yeah, that is the party's turn.
Mhm.
It now comes to their turn.
No,
To-
let's not do that.
To murdering me.
Yes.
We didn't.
One of the remaining apostle turns around and like charges over, like rushes over to Howdian, and is
hi,
going
Mark.
to oh hi Mom, and is going to
Oh, hi,
attempt
Mark.
you watch as like almost like blades forming out of the end of their hands, like thick sludgy tar solidifies into a long piercing blade
Cool.
out of both ends, and it's going to try and take both of its attacks on you. However, that is the shittiest roll I could possibly get. That is
Really?
a 1 and a 2.
Dang.
Well, then not the shittiest because it wasn't
Almost the
snake.
shittiest roll.
Hold on. So, question: What
Yes.
is it? Is it a tough choice or
One
worse?
is a critical, one is a catastrophe,
Okay,
and the other one is a failure.
amazing. I may also, for 0 AP, I may also immediately roll the die to make a basic attack on them.
Yep. It's
Amazing.
basically like it tries to lash out in rage at seeing its comrade fall. It misses horribly with one, and its blade actually gets stuck and punctured into the floor. so that it's not moving.
So you said that my turn I couldn't do anything, right?
Yeah, your turn. Your turn. It was just for that round. That's it.
My
When it comes back to you, you have your faculties back to you for the next round.
my attack was shitty. It was a 7. So
So
I mean,
that's a tough choice. So
Yeah,
it will go through.
actually.
So you deal damage to them, but
we love it.
do you want something about the terrain to change, or do you want something about the rift to change?
Ooh.
Oh man.
You know what you gotta do.
I mean, it can't change. I mean, the rift won't close from this. But making it difficult terrain will make it more difficult for us to probably break the pillars.
I might be able to handle the last pillar.
I'll make it terrain. Something happens to the terrain.
The creature lets out like shriek of rage to the point where you're hearing it like you're hearing it in your heads as well, and you're also, all of you suddenly hear another voice. Who dares hurt my children? And
Excuse me?
you feel from the rift a pulse of energy that crashes down a whole bed of rocks surrounding the final pillar. It'll now be much harder to get through it. And also, in doing that, other bits of rock have pulled Howdian away from the group. Howdian is stuck with this creature alone.
Well, the one thing I wanted to ask is, because we were all together, I
Yes.
have an ability called Rebuke, which is you utter a righteous word or phrase in the direction of a nearby creature that is approaching you during this turn. Since I was near How, can I still use that?
It wasn't approaching you, though. It went
Oh,
to
okay.
Howdian. If it was you, then it would work, but it went towards Howdian because Howdian just like
Decimated one of the
it.
pillars.
I pissed him off.
So we have
Yeah.
one more left, right?
Yeah, you got one pillar
Yeah.
left, and it's much harder to get through. And you see the other like singular the Cyclops like little creature just also turn its gaze to look at Howdian. And Howdian, you feel that piercing like sensation of your head feeling like it's going to boil alive. You take 2 necrotic damage.
Amazing.
And the other creature that let out the confused shriek, it just spends its turn just lashing about in the area. It doesn't seem to know what's going on. It doesn't attack anyone.
Cool. I like it.
Okay.
And then the last one turns to its once ally, and it rushes at it to attack it because it doesn't get why it's not obeying.
No.
You got to get rid of that other apostle.
And it doesn't land either the attacks either. So that's a good thing. Its size gets stuck. It does so none of the blows land as well as it would like, but that thing still takes 2 damage overall. But the scythes are so wild that it's on the ground. They're like stuck in the ground, but it looks like it's dead set on attacking its ally. And that is all the remaining turns for the enemy, so it is the party's turn. You have 1 pillar left that is now more covered in rocks.
What does that pillar look like?
It looks as though it looks as though there were various almost like jars stacked on one top of one another, but they were made of stone, and the decorations to all of them bloom outwards and are decorated like they're flowers that are in full bloom, stacked on top of one another.
That's pretty, but it's leaking evil energy, right?
Yep, that's pretty, but it's leaking evil.
Like, you know,
That's pretty, but
just
it's
like,
of huge inconvenience to me.
Yeah, and also when the round ended, the rift once again opening up
that's what I
bigger.
say about all of the evil NPCs. It's pretty, but it's leaking evil vibes.
Yeah.
It's pretty, but it's, I don't know, the apostles aren't pretty.
I don't know.
Okay, maybe.
I don't know. I'm not getting the good vibes. I'm not getting the chill and good vibes. I need
Vibe check, everyone. Are we
Vibe check.
leaking evil? Are we leaking evil here?
Bro, vibe check
Oh,
failed.
constantly.
Ooh, okay. So you insinuated earlier that I could smite one of the pillars.
If you're willing to burn it, you could.
I still have a little AP left, so I'm willing to burn it.
Okay. And let me double check. Don't you have a bit of a con with using smite?
Yeah, there is a
Yes.
con. There is
And
a
you
con.
already used
to
it once, so
Like a comic con or a bad kind of con?
a bad con.
a bad con.
Or
There's
is
a
it like
reason
a
why
con
it hits
man?
so hard.
Like,
So before you do this, you mind rolling me a d20 real quick, Nim?
Sure.
Oh boy.
Just-
Oh boy.
This sounds fun. 16.
Okay. You once again, that voice that you all heard, for you it gets louder. It's like a passenger. But you feel in your head, you feel like you hear like the rattling of like coins, and the voice gets very angry and it gets calmer, but you don't know if her will protect you from if you do it again. You might have to risk it.
So did the smite go through on the pillar?
If you're choosing to do it again, I wanted to double check that, because that's something for Nim to be aware of. If you do it again, because the effect, the ability for smite reads, if you destroy a creature. Oh, but wait, that's if you destroy a creature. I misread that part, but
yeah, that's why I was aiming for the pillar.
that's true.
I mean, I don't know. The magic's weird. That's your call
That's
on
true.
that. I'm
That's
just
true.
saying.
We're gonna let that one go because that's a misread on mine. But we'll say, were you to use this ability on another creature, that's the voice that you're hearing, that of the passenger who will be accompanying you.
That's only if I roll a 1, though, right?
Right? No, it's only if you roll a 1.
Now that you've said that.
Now that I've said that, I'm going to smite the pillar.
Okay. There is all of a sudden a divine flame that erupts, that it breaks through the hole of the pillar, and for a split second, to only Nim, it reminds you of a warm roaring flame that one would see in the hearth of a home. And as the pillar is shattered, you hear a loud screech. No, Master. We sought not to fail you. We sought not to do this. And you see the tar is beginning to just, for lack of a better term, because this visually captures it, it begins to slough off of the individual.
Ooh.
And
One of your favorite words.
yeah.
I'm
But
sorry, your 325 flight has been canceled.
But you watch as the last words you hear, all of you in your minds, are, although essentially, because it hurts my voice a little bit to do that voice all the time, you hear, though though you have kept the forest from us, the mountains will be ours.
Nah.
That panics
And-
me.
And the
Nim's
creature
just-
just fades and melts into like a pool of tar. It just
As
sinks.
it's doing that, Nim is just going to look over and go, "Cool. Try me next time, bitch."
And Odysseus was preparing to channel another bit. Oh, she looks exhausted, by the way, from all of this. She was also
Yeah,
almost out of AP. She's like a 4. And the next one would have done her in for like 2 more, so she's real low.
Mm-hmm.
Same. Big same.
But the room seems to still. And the rift, it's becoming more unstable and closing.
Are there any enemies left?
You watch as both of the Ravagers, they both become confused and they come towards you. It's like a very like kind of like sad way of putting it, but it's kind of accurate. They look like very confused, like hurt puppies.
Like
Like they
stray
have that
dogs.
expression.
Like
I'll
stray
revert to
dogs.
like
Down.
person form and just kind of just like a come here.
Come here, alien eldritch horse.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not trusting him. Like I
Oh, I
still have
will.
sword in hand. I'm like,
I'm just gonna go
mean,
like
they
full on
can't-
like come here. Come here.
They can't go near Farron, so
Yeah. You see the creatures, they start moving towards the rest of the party. Like very docile and calm. And then you watch as the rift flares open. And you watch as for Serena, you see a flaming hand pull one of the Ravagers in, and then another hand pull the other one in.
No. Can I do something?
If you'd like.
Can I try and pull one back?
You can roll
Okay,
a d20 to see if you can contest it.
Okay.
You might run a tiny bit over, but we started a little bit late, so I think we'll be okay, roughly.
fine.
But
14?
that is enough. You're able to get one. And
Okay.
you watch as, and again, this is for Serena. For the rest of you, whatever your character is most afraid of, you see a manifestation of that trying to pull its way out of the rift.
Well, you know what mine is.
Yeah, you see the beast like crawling its way out of the rift.
You know, originally I was gonna say that Nim's worst fear is actually just a human who's an asshole. But I think after hearing the oh hey, I'm coming for you next time, their fear is just literally that voice.
Yeah, you see the noble crawling out of the rift. And drenched in water, and their face changing to other people you knew.
Thanks, I hate it.
And you all hear a voice just saying, "My will is absolute. I will not be denied. My right its place." It's struggling. The rift, it looks like it's not stable, but it looks like it's trying to like crawl its way out.
Can I do, are we like still in rounds? Like, do we still have a thing we can do?
It's still, you all, if you have something you think you can do, this thing. This is a terrifying manifestation of whatever it is these things seem to worship or want to bring into the world. You see it coming out of the rift.
I would like to burn almost all of the rest of my AP to cast Befizzle.
I need
Well,
to
just
look
have
up that. I'm just like,
We're all
I need
just
to
like,
look
huh?
up what the fuck that is. Because I don't think I
Um,
actually recalled it.
You curse a creature, it's 4 AP, you curse a creature nearby, restricting their use of magic for the next hour. If they try to cast a spell, they will find it impossible. For example, if the spell is spoken, they forget their lines. If the spell requires hand waving, they find their arms frozen. If you are casting a spell on a boss, you must concentrate on it to maintain the effect. The spell ends if you move or do anything else.
So basically, you're stuck right there. You're watching as
I'm
Nim.
stuck. I'm
Nim
stuck
is
there
basically
just
holding an eldritch entity in the opening of this rift.
Does it
Nim's
say anything about other people attacking it? Can I?
nope. It's only me. I can't move. I can't attack it. I have to concentrate on the spell.
So it's like crawling out,
It's
right?
yeah, like imagine this is a deep hole, and the creature is like just trying to pull itself out of the rift that's at the center of it.
Can we
Yeah,
tell if the rift is?
I also had to move a little bit closer to the creature
Yeah.
probably to get
So you're
it.
probably
So
in the hole with it.
yeah, so Nim's just kind of down there. Actually, I think Nim would just take the goddamn stupid lasso, cast the spell on it, cinch it around the thing's upper shoulders, and be like, guys, I can buy us some time, but this is not good.
Can we tell if the rift is like open for a certain like temporarily? It's trying to use the last
It's
few seconds to.
unstable. It's unstable.
All right.
It's like barely holding together. It looks like the ritual, whatever they were doing, was enough to stabilize it for just a little bit of time, but it didn't happen long enough where it looks like it's starting to close.
I'm going to cast freeze on it. I'm going to spend 2 AP to freeze. Oh wait, no, I don't know if I can. Common or minion or object.
It's a boss. This is the definition of a boss.
That's why I
Okay.
was like,
So-
I'm burning this. It's a lot, but I'm burning it.
Okay.
So for
In which
me,
case,
For how
sorry, go ahead.
oh okay, yeah. So it's this big, huge beast for me.
Yeah.
Which I have been trying to fight for about an age. And I just want to like run up and like try and cleave one of its arms like just straight off.
Make the attack. And you see Farron is just like shakily like pulling the bowstring and is spending like I'm gonna probably just put this down as they spent like 9 AP over the whole course of this battle just for dead shots.
Hold on.
For dead
Can
eye.
I had 15. I'm burned basically all of this.
Amazing. Can you do an ability and then an attack, or is it only
It's
ability?
one or the other.
Then I'll just do the attack.
The sword comes down and the creature like tries to catch it, but you turn it around and you like stab it into the bed of the floor, but it's trying to pull you into the rift now. You're hurting it, but you're holding it down. And the whole party is in a moment of struggling with it. You watch as Odysseia, as
No.
the butterfly wings like emerge out of her. If this is what it takes, I will bind you to my very soul if I must.
I'm a bad example. Don't follow my dumbass example of what I just did.
I love you, Maddie. And you watch as a cluster of echoes appear around them and just swarm over the opening. And you watch as they continue to grow and grow, almost like something nearby, the spirits of several souls that have been put at rest from a rotting flower emerge and aid the party. The souls bond together, and she lets out. She's using double the amount and giving up almost all of her health. But she unleashes a magic strike and prays to the primeval maiden. The being screams in agony. And there's this faint little node of light after a burst of overwhelming pink light overtakes your senses. What's left over is this pink node of energy that looks as though it tries to grow. And you see her walk forward and sing and press it close to herself. And you watch as her hair, that was a vibrant, like gold and silver, it becomes much more gray in tone. There's almost a look like ink running across a white dress. Takes over the way her vein, all across the veins of her body, and the butterfly wings flap and turn to moth wings. It is done.
Yikes.
I said I would bring you home safe. And so that's what I'll do. No matter what happens next.
Thank you. And she just passes out right there.
Can I catch her?
Yeah. The rift is gone. The apostles defeated for now. And with a sacrifice that you don't quite know the extent of, Odysseus has bound the will of this creature here. And that is where we're going to end our session for today.
You know what?
Well then.
That I hate.
Jason's gonna come back to like be like, what the?
Jason's just gonna
It's
just gonna be the community meme of coming back into the apartment and being like,
Yup,
why the fuck
yup.
is everything on fire? Why is
They're just gonna be like, what? I was gone for one session.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, we will have a lot to discuss about what comes out of this, but
Sheesh.
we're gonna move into outros because we are over our time, and I want to respect our producers' well-being and all that. So if anyone, so I'll take a good deep breath after that because I knew that this was coming, depending on what y'all did.
I was honestly expecting to get it with abusing smite so much.
Oh, not this time.
Not this time.
Next time, maybe.
Great.
Not this time. But so, outros, everyone. Where can we find you? What can we hype up about you? So, anyone want to take the initiative, or I can take it if folks want me to go first. folks need a second to breathe and process
I
that.
can do it. It's fine. I'm totally fine. It's fine. Hi everyone. My name is Inez. And I've forgotten that I always say it's me, your friend, Inez, your bestest friend. Um, and well, today I have been playing Howdian, the big, strong, buff elf lady, who just made a very, very big promise to take someone home who's just like, I guess, you know, I guess just passed away. Maybe I don't know. Um, anyways. It was a very good session and I really enjoyed it. It was amazing. It really showed our strengths and our teamwork, I think. Um let's see. You can find me everywhere on the interwebs, on at Inez666, or put an underscore behind it, because sometimes people take your username and you know that sucks.
I'm not bitter. I'm not bitter at
No,
all.
I'm not bitter. I'm not bitter. But if you type in a 666, you'll find me. I am most present on Twitter, and I do Twitch streams. I've been slacking on it though. I'm trying to pick it back up. Mental health is getting better and better and better, so hopefully soon. Um, so yeah, you can find me in S666 on here as well. I do variety streams. I sometimes do makeup. I sometimes just talk. I sometimes play games. And otherwise, you can find me here every Monday. I'll be here, eh, unless something happens. I don't know. Yeah. Um, don't forget to love yourself. Black Lives Matter. Black Trans Lives Matter. Go vote. Do the votes. And yeah, that has been me. Thank you so much. I love you.
All right. Next up.
Sure. Hi guys. I'm Jen. I have been your very like oddly patient naturalist today. I can be found on Twitter at Jenbirb. That is JIENBIRB, not to be confused with Fireburb. That is Angela. Other than that, I can be found every Saturday evening on the Plot Hunters channel, twitch.tv/Plot Hunters, playing 5e, being a monk and hitting things a whole lot. That's me.
Fun.
Gabriel.
Hi. I'm Gabriel. Oh my gosh, sorry, that was a big session. You can find me on Facebook as Keldy Smith. You can find me on Instagram as Keldy Smith, one word. On Twitch, I am Keldy. I'm just gonna like put that in the chat. Because my Twitter name is weird, so it's at Sarah Ladra, which is SYRLAIDRE. I probably should pick an easier Twitter name. But yeah. And I have been your half goblin invoker, and remember to vote and go everything that it is just said essentially. Please go vote. Please take care of each other.
And last but not least, hello there, everyone. I am Angela. I have been your guide, drama facilitator extraordinaire on this day, and sad feels all around, everybody. We're all doing well. You can find me on Twitter at Phoenix24Fem or on Patreon at Philosophem, where I am a professional poet and writer, and where I now have 145 pieces currently up for viewing if you are a patron, half of which are available publicly, the other half, like I said, patron locked. I am one half of the Queerly Yours relationship podcast with my partner, one of my partners, the one who I've been with, who is also trans. We're an interracial couple. We've been together for 9+ years, so we have a decent amount of insights on some things at this point. I am also working on my own game that is inspired by Ryutama for the Queen and the Winnie the Pooh film Search for Christopher Robin, as well as being over at All Nerds here on Sundays for the City of Mist campaign for Royal Flush, a wild cards adventure where I play a death doula slash hospice caregiver who has the mythos of Shipetotek, a deity of life and rebirth, otherwise known as our Lord of the Flayed Skin, because that's my favorite description I ever get to give for a god. And I'm also a musician for hire. So if you need a musical piece either for your stream, for your TTRPG campaign of any kind, or for a website, I am available for hire. I have decent prices, I do good work, and I come up and do a lot of consultation with you to figure out exactly what you'd like. And I think that's almost everything. Oh, and Chimera RPG every other Friday over on Utopia, 9 p.m. EST. I am playing a trans illusionist reality warper where I just helped amplify the power of a stone construct summoned by our demigod friend, and to help it hold down a giant rock, meaning the bird, struck being with his bare hands. Cool stuff. Superhero fantasy is great. As always, we love you all very much. Take care of each other. Don't forget your meds. Check in with your friends if you need it. We're all having really rough times. And as always, white supremacy is a lie. It robs us all of everything that could be good, of many different things that could be good about our own lives, and really does nothing for the world other than hurt all of us. And as always, trans lives trans rights are human rights. Black lives have always mattered, will always matter, and will never stop mattering, and should always be centered in a lot of pretty much all conversations. We find no liberation without taking care of our fellow folk, especially those who have been treated often the worst. Take care, everyone, and we will see you all next week. Hopefully, a full party as we deal with the aftermath of this. Love you very much, and take care, everyone. Have a good week.
Love you. Goodbye.
Bye, y'all.